What's up, guys? If you want to be part of the Anime Justice League channel overall and you want to submit your video so that it can be featured on our channel like this one does, just email us at animejusticeleague@yahoo.com or leave your comments in the comment section below and we will reach out to you and hopefully we'll get your video on the Anime Justice League channel, which will be beneficial for you as well as for us. Exposure for you, and we get content on here. So if you want that, just reach out to us. It's very easy. Now enjoy the video.
When Attack on Titan finished airing in fall 2013, people desperately wanted something that could finish what it started, and finally make anime an accepted entertainment medium here in the West. So, it was no surprise that when it was announced that the minds of Gurren Lagann were coming back for a new project, people thought that the show was going to save anime. The show was called Kill la Kill, making no sense and generating shit tons of hype. Good old Gainax. But, while the anime community was collectively ejaculating to it, I approached the show very skeptically, and when the first episode came out, I was not impressed one bit. The animation was choppy and gray, the plot seemed completely uninteresting and nonsensical, and I couldn't even notice a song in a Sawano soundtrack. It was that bad. In fact, the only reason I continued watching it was so that I could rip on it in a future review. But then, something changed. About halfway through, I actually started having a good time. The animation became balls to the walls, the plot had more cliffhangers than Attack on Titan, and the soundtrack, that soundtrack. But the question is, does the second half ultimately make up for the first half? Is it worth it to watch 12 episodes of shit just to get to that glorious ending? Well, sit back and I'm gonna tell you. Welcome to my review of Kill la Kill. Let's get started. Now the first thing you'll notice about the show is that the plot is absolutely ridiculous, and not necessarily in the good way. The story starts off with Ryuko Matoi trying to unravel the mystery behind her father's death by finding the other half of the scissor blade? The only tie to her father's murderer. Her search leads her to Honuji Academy, where the school council president, Satsuki Kiryuin, tells her that if she can defeat every Elite Four member and club president, then she will tell her the truth. In Honuji, Goku uniforms, clothing that grants the wearer immense strength, are given to students and determine their social standing. There are 4 uniform types, ranging from no star, giving no benefits and only worn by poor students like Mako, but I'll get to her later, to 3-star, only worn by Satsuki's Elite Four, giving a huge power boost to the wearers. But after suffering a humiliating loss to this slimy bastard, she meets Kamui Senketsu, aka Rapist McBadpants, see what I did there, in her basement and finds out that he's a secret weapon forged by her father in order to fight the Kiryuin family, because a school council president controls the entire fucking world. So, with her newfound power, she takes Satsuki up on her offer and defeats a new foe every episode, in order to restore her family's honor. Also, the show set in a dictatorship society in a world where Hitler wins World War II. So as you can see, the story seems pretty dumb and cliche. Well, at least right off the bat. Around the halfway point, the story evolves into a tale to save the human race from their ultimate enemy since the beginning of time. Fucking clothing. What the hell were Gainax smoking when they thought of this? Cause I sure as hell want some. But on a more serious note, the show deploys a lot of face changes and way losing before the final showdown in space a la Gurren Lagann, and lots of small little details eventually become big plot points, something that I really like and can appreciate. Now the ending was a tad bit underwhelming, but the show sets itself up perfectly for a sequel without actually needing one. And hopefully if they do decide to go that route, they use the same writing quality as the second half, because the first half really just consisted of drawn out battle sequences and scissoring. I mean scissors, right, Satsuki? Incest. Now speaking of that one mother-daughter bath scene that we all should forget, The show stirred up quite a bit of controversy with its fan service, but in all honesty, I think it was handled pretty tastefully. Which I know is kinda weird to say considering half the time Ryuko is walking around with a wedgie so far up her coochie she should not be fertile, but there's so much going on at the same time in that show that you really can't tell unless they shove it down your throat, bringing us full circle back to the most loving mother in the entire world. Now the characters are something I have really mixed feelings about. They each are so zany and intense, but they each have their own problems too. Ryuko's a great badass tomboy, but flip-flops way too often. Satsuki's a great counterpart to Ryuko, but is shrouded in way too much mystery through the first 2/3 for us to learn and care about her. Ragyo is an amazing twisted villain, but her motivations don't really make sense. Aikuro is hilarious, but actually no, he's actually fucking perfect. Then you got the Elite Four, aka the brutal hard-ass, the honorable monkey swordsman, the cunning nerd, and the lolly. Trigger has got those fan service bases covered. The Mankanshoku family is really just there to give us comic relief and the ultimate waifu. That's right, move over Iris Veal, scooch over Chocolate-chan. You gotta make way for Tsukio and her special croquettes. Get on that body pillow, Trigger. You see, you have this great diverse set of characters, and then there's Mako. I remember a specific moment in episode 5 where there was a showdown between Ryuko and a nudist beach member, can't remember his name, and she stepped in, wasted 2 whole minutes of screen time with her nonsense, and then just left. Everyone goes back to the way they were, and it just feels like a giant waste of time. She's just so annoying. They try to make her cool in episode 7, but it really doesn't work. Same old money doesn't buy you happiness bullshit. I mean, just look at this guy. I think she really drags the show down, but Sanagayama and Gamagori at least try to clean up her mess by being awesome in the fights they have with Ryuko, which is another thing I have unpopular opinions about. The fights. Every single battle that Ryuko has is one with a huge ass pull. Oh, there's a giant airship wreaking havoc that I can't possibly destroy here on the ground? Time to fly. The only half-decent fight she had in the first half was with Gamma McBondage Mako. Shut up. And even that was a little sketchy. And it didn't help that the fight's animation were really inconsistent. I mean, the first few episodes it looks so cheap, and then in the last few episodes it looks so good. Oh god. I find it kind of funny that when the Disco Milf herself finally showed up, the color palette went from gray to gay in the best possible way. Seriously though, that bitch's hair is having a rave of its own. Also, I'm pretty sure that over the course of the whole show, the frame rate went from like 2 to 60. Cause by the end there, that shit was looking cray-cray. Also, I'm pretty sure that the choppiness was kind of a part of its style, just like with Gurren Lagann, and look how well it worked out there. Granted, they could have toned it down a bit in the first half, but I digress. These steps up in the animation really helped make the fights more enjoyable, and it showed. Actually, the fights as a whole improved, as the scale kept rising to culminate in the invincible villain known as Ragyo Kiryuin. And I know I'm talking about her a lot, but her and Nui basically saved the show. And not just with character, with music too. You see, early in the show, I couldn't appreciate such good character themes such as Sanagayama's, and just when I'd given up hope, I became hypnotized by the chanting of Blumenkranz, Ragyo's character theme, and in my opinion, the best OST on the track. And before all 5 of you go all out in the comments and say, "Don't Lose Your Way is totally the best song ever, tits or GTFO faggot, go kill yourself," I just found it kinda bland and it wasn't really my cup of tea. But there is a lot of cultural flair put into the songs, and Sawano did a damn good job of making sure that the character themes match up to their character's personality. Just listen for yourselves. Sawano's also proven that he can do sad songs, and the diversity in the show's musical styles really fit with the show's overall theme. And that theme is to be yourself. I mean, just think about it. Everyone who follows the rules of the school and of society have the exact same models. Granted, this is probably Trigger being lazy, but still. And in truth, we really are slaves to clothing. Everyone always tries to cover themselves up in clothes in order to be accepted by society, when really it isn't needed. Kill la Kill shows us that you don't need to be afraid to show off your body, or your personality for that matter. And it is because of this deeper meaning that I've decided to give the show a 7 out of 10. with the recommendation to watch it for free on Crunchyroll and then buy it later if you like it that much. You see, if the whole show had been like the first half, I probably would have given it a 4, and if it had been more like the second half, probably would have given it a 9. The whole thing's completely nonsensical, but by the end of it, it manages to tell quite a good story. The soundtrack is great, the animation manages to pick itself up, and the characters reach likable in their own little way. But even so, I can't get over how agonizing the first half was to watch. It just felt like it was going nowhere. So if you can endure that, and Mako's insanity, then I think you'll have a good time. In the end, was it a second Gurren Lagann? No, but Gurren Lagann could have been the second Kill la Kill. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you know the anime that this opening belongs to, you'll already know the topic of my next video. Bye guys.